Well, malaria is the single best example of how America can have a tremendous impact in the world for an affordable amount of money, and see, proven outcomes. This is an example that shows the power of bipartisanship. This has always been a bipartisan issue from the very beginning. It's been kind of a safe harbor from the bitterness of our politics. We actually know how to solve this problem and have done it in large parts of the world. And the only reason it isn't solved everywhere is because of a lack of political will.
My name is Joshua Andes. I'm a Nothing But Nets champion and JCI Youth. My question is, what is the reason for the current administration to cut the foreign aid assistance funds?
That's a very good question.
Great. So, Mike, take it away. Thank you.
I think the answer to that question has to do with this question about what is our responsibility in the world. And the fact here is there have been other points in our history, and this is one reason history is worth studying, where America tried to live with the illusion that what happened in foreign places didn't matter to us. That happened in World War II, where there were forces that were called America First at the time, which argued that what was happening in Europe was none of our responsibility, that we would not be affected by it at all, that we were separated by oceans. And of course, having a continent of Europe dominated by the Nazis would have been both a humanitarian and security disaster for the United States. So those arguments were combated at that time by Franklin Roosevelt, who made the case that what matters abroad matters to us as well here at home. That was true during the Cold War. People made that same argument. Why are we balancing the Soviet Union in various parts of the world? And of course, our interests would have been tremendously implicated if there had been Russian nuclear weapons in Cuba that could have, hit all over the southern United States. That would have been a real threat. We oppose those kind of threats for important reasons because it does matter to us. And now we're in a circumstance where we do face some great power rivalry from like Russia and China. But that's not even the main problem. A lot of the problems we face in the world, whether it is terrorism, whether it is pandemic disease, whether it is refugee flows, whether it is drug cartels, these are often problems that emerge in weak and fragile countries. That's where they take root. They're kind of like, these problems are like parasites. When a country is weak, their immune system is weak, these problems can take terrible root and become challenges to the United States very, very quickly. So I would say these things matter to the security, eventually matter to the security of the United States. But I would also say that one of the things about being an American citizen, and one reason we're different from some other countries, is that we were founded on a creed, on a set of beliefs embodied in the Declaration of Independence, clarified by a great Civil War and a great leader, Abraham Lincoln, who said, everyone matters, everybody counts, no insignificant person was ever born. And these rights are universal. They're not just ours, they belong to everybody. That doesn't mean we can solve every problem in the world, but where we can make a difference, we can serve the cause of human dignity. That is something that America should do. We did that in the Marshall Plan after World War II, where we helped rebuild Europe and Japan, our enemies. We helped rebuild our enemies because it was good for the world. We do it through the Peace Corps, which was John Kennedy's effort to show the good heart of America, which is true. We do it through PEPFAR. We do it through the President's Malaria Initiative. And we do it through the Global Fund, which is a good example of involving other countries in these efforts. The U.S. gives 1/3 of the funding for the Global Fund. The remaining 2/3 is supplied by other countries. And that ratio, we keep that ratio for a reason, because we want other countries to be involved in these efforts. But I think there are good security reasons. I think there are good moral reasons why we should care about what happened to others.